Hello, everyone. So as was just said, in the current climate, independent production has become an unsustainable pursuit. Career hopes have become largely untenable. Fear and scarcity rule the day, and all stakeholders suffer when agendas are so often in conflict. As an antidote, we envision an employee-owned benefit corporation, a collective and an ongoing concern serving all stakeholders. It's fair trade for artists, it's sanity for investors, and it's newfound connection for fans. As a self-sustaining community, we are employing many proven concepts and best practices from other areas of business and applying them in a new and modernized plan. Our mission is to produce quality work and consistent output while everyone involved can earn a sustainable living wage while enjoying good workplace standards, job stability, and benefits normally far out of independence reach. It's a community where integrity counts, accountability and transparency is routine, expected, and viewed as an opportunity, and everyone matters. As you'll hear shortly, this community consists of several pods whose members, committed, team-oriented people of diverse talents and backgrounds, wear different hats at different times. Those pods stand on the shoulders of a foundational core of infrastructure and distribution-related specialists where economies of scale best apply. Investors are then backing a sustainable company that resembles a distributed tech startup as much as an indie studio and can participate in ways they normally would not. Every participant has a minimum entry cost, time, and focus depending on their role and level of commitment. The model also can accommodate both traditional and innovative distribution channels while providing opportunities for audiences to connect in new ways, not only with the films, but also the filmmakers themselves. Ultimately, this is an ecosystem that serves all stakeholders, from when the first spark of inspiration strikes until the final light goes down after the show and beyond.
We're an umbrella collective made up of linked creative pods. Each creative pod focuses on a particular genre. We have dramas, thrillers, horror, romantic comedies, documentaries, and so on. These creative pods are spread across 2 geographic hubs in Los Angeles and New York. Since much of the film work is remote, filmmakers don't need to live in either geographic hub as long as they can travel to where productions take place when working on set. The collective is owned by filmmakers and investors. Filmmakers will always own 51% of the collective shares, and the remaining 41% is divided between investors. In order to join the collective, crew members need to bring in $2,000 in cash or equipment rental donations. Collective members work from their strengths. For members gifted at pitching, a portion of their work includes being part of the pitching team, the group that pitches the collective to investors. Filmmakers connect the pitching team with investors in their networks. Our minimum investor buy-in is $100,000. They gain more equity if they bring in more. Unlike traditional filmmaking, this isn't a take your check and run experience for investors. They're part of the process. The following features make us attractive to investors. Our projects are diverse in terms of genres we produce and talent we hire. We work with well-known actors and new discoveries. Our filmmakers and actors are also diverse in terms of gender, sexuality, race, age, and ability, resulting in content that appeals to diverse and international audiences. This diversity fosters a security net. If some projects don't do as well, others make up for that loss. We have regular social and creative meetings between investors and filmmakers. In short, investors enjoy belonging to a community where they're part of the creative process, while the risk of investment loss is mitigated by project diversity in terms of genre and the identity and professional background of those in front of and behind the camera.
So how exactly do we make movies? To greenlight our films, each pod pitches to the entire collective to ensure the films are competitive during our monthly PB&J session, P for pitch, J for jokes, and B for behind the scenes. And because every single vote counts the same, the entire collective anonymously votes about which project to greenlight. And ideally, every month, the project chosen kind of alternates among the pods, so there's a diversity of projects moving into production. And then it's game time, but we're not alone. To produce our films, we draw upon the collective's membership, which is our greatest strength. I'm going to quickly share my screen if I can. Oopa. All right. So this has a lot of information on it, but what's important is a few takeaways. One is the collective is communally owned and operated. So what that means is that all work is paid work. And people can work between like part-time or full-time, 20 to 40 weeks of work a year. And we've got a point system so that they're just a way to honor the busyness of production. There's a few things that I really love about this. One is that members of the collective get to choose exactly how they contribute. So like a writer director in one project can choose how to support another project anywhere between pre or post, and including in the foundational layer of the collective that Todd talked about. And the other thing that I super love is maybe my favorite is that once a member of the collective has been there for a year, part-time or full-time, doesn't matter, their own film is eligible to be made. Now I'm going to stop screen sharing because I'm a little short on time. But the last thing I just wanted to share was that our collective is built upon like integrity, sustainability, and community. So we have community codes for production and on set. And that means like no one is forced to work more than 10 hours. Our sets are eco-friendly. We all take breaks at the same time. There's adequate accommodations, there's daycare, and we all get to eat the same food, even background. And that's pretty glorious.
All right, so let's talk about distribution. The collective's distribution umbrella gets films out into the world. One distribution umbrella connects all of the creative pods together, distributing all films. Our goals for year one would be to have 6 films produced, year 2, 12 films, and by year 3, 15 films in production. The multifaceted distribution model will still incorporate theatrical release, foreign sales, and streaming. However, we would include mobile film festivals and drive-ins to connect with our audiences, literally taking the show on the road. Using models such as rooftop films, which creates an authentic and enticing experiences for our filmgoers and draws audiences regardless of genre, mobile units would travel around creating film events in both rural and urban areas. We will engage with our audience via Q&A and immersive experiences. Within the distribution umbrella, there would be a social media team whose goal would be outreach and marketing via social media, creating and connecting our audience to live streams, pre-production behind the scenes, and showcasing the entire filmmaking process for our audience. With sales agents and casting directors as part of the collective and films having varied budget levels, casting teams will work with getting commitments from various agencies to help us cast all of our projects. They would connect us with talent across the spectrum. Our sales teams would be motivated to sell our films as a package of projects, some of which would include name talent. There are many benefits for the financier. By spreading investments over multiple films and diversifying, returns are more secure with greater chances of success. And for the film professional, the collective will provide a constant source of income and work as there would be an ongoing series of films in production. So there would be no long months of unemployment and worry about getting the next gig. A certain amount of money would be allocated back into the pool for future productions, and dividends will go to collective members, while an amount of profits will be split among investors, creating perpetual returns. Film Finance Present, all in one place, the collective.
So we've walked you through our ideas for restructuring independent film with a community mindset. We believe we can address many of the problems within our current ecosystem through a collective that takes into account all stakeholders, filmmakers, financiers, and audience. While it may seem like some of the concepts we presented are radical, our approach was to borrow from what already works within the commercial world and apply it to an independent landscape. We've seen collectives work before in film. The concept of equity is borrowed from startups. Diversifying portfolios is a standard business practice, as is reinvesting profit back into a business. B Corp structures already exist. 10-hour set days are standard in other parts of the world. Film screenings and events outside of movie theaters already take place in various forms. We are not so much revolutionizing as we are collecting the best of what already works and bringing these elements together to foster a better space for independent film. What distinguishes the collective is the way in which stakeholders, investors, filmmakers, and the audience are engaged throughout the entire process, from development through production, post-production, and distribution. The collective puts its members at the front and center. It is not intended to become another aspect of the status quo, but to remain ever evolving as the group itself seeks to support the growth and health of independent film as a whole.